Today, I'm sharing the systems that have genuinely worked in our family because when kids know what to expect and things, at least some of them, are prepared, you get to stop being the one micromanaging every detail and you reinforce lifelong habits. If your school mornings involve missing shoes, forgotten lunches, and getting to the drop off line about 2 minutes to spare, this episode is for you. Today, I'm going to share 3 tips plus one bonus tip to help make your mornings a little bit smoother. I'm Steph, registered dietitian, mom of 2 boys, and the author of Mindset and Metabolism on Substack. I'm here to help you feel confident in how you feed your family with nuance and practical tools that work in real life and not just in a textbook. So before we decided to reset our family mornings, here was our typical, very chaotic schedule. My older son would wake up with just enough time to get ready if he hustled, which he never did. He didn't want breakfast because he was snacking the night before, and he really just wasn't hungry when he woke up. Getting dressed took way longer than it should. He kept playing with the dog, he kept being distracted, and by the time we were headed out the door, I was already behind on my day, and they were almost late to school. Here's the thing. Every single piece of that morning routine could have been prevented. The snacking too close to bedtime, the I'll make it work if I hustle type of mentality, the shoes not being in the right spot, all of it. I knew better, but I hadn't built the systems quite yet. So today I'm sharing the systems that have genuinely worked in our family because when kids know what to expect and things, at least some of them, are prepared, you get to stop being the one micromanaging every detail and you reinforce lifelong habits. So here's tip number 1. Anchor your mornings with a consistent sleep and wake schedule. This one is foundational, and it starts the night before. You protect their sleep schedule, and you're intentional about what happens before bed, including what they're eating. Here's the thing that most parents don't connect. A consistent sleep schedule isn't just about getting enough hours of sleep. It's about regulating their circadian rhythm so that waking up isn't a battle every day. When kids wake up at the same time, on weekends and weekdays within an hour what they normally do, their body is naturally awake. Their cortisol rises appropriately, they feel more alert, and they're not dragging themselves out of bed. And bedtime consistency is the flip side of that coin. When bedtime drifts, they stay up an extra hour here, another hour there on the weekends. In the summer, this is so common. It can give your kid like low-grade jet lag. School mornings can become brutal because they don't really know where they're at. And research shows that irregular sleep schedules in children are associated with more behavioral challenges, lower mood, poorer attention, all things that make morning harder. So here's something that we don't really talk about very often, but I found to be a huge game changer for our family. If your kids are grazing on snacks or a meal an hour or two before bed, they're going to wake up less hungry. And breakfast is genuinely one of the most important investments that you can make in how they focus and how they function at school. So this is not me saying no to food after dinner. A lot of these kids are growing, and it can be challenging if you have kids in after-school activities where they don't get home until later. But when you can, be mindful of how much they're snacking in the evening hours, especially after dinner. It also supports their digestive systems. So try these things. Set a consistent bedtime and wake time schedule. Build in a kitchen close routine that is signaled 1 to 2 hours before bed, and keep their weekend sleep schedule within 60 minutes of weekday times to protect that rhythm. Number 2, give yourself more time than you need. Tip 2 sounds almost too simple, but I promise you it's so important. Give yourself more time. Everything takes twice as long with kids than you think. And here's what can mentally happen. You calculate the amount of time that it takes for you to get to school, right? You get everybody ready. You base your morning time based on that. But the math never accounts for the kid that can't find their water bottle, or the meltdown, or the dog needing to go outside, or the other distractions that are inevitable as being a mom and a parent. And this puts everybody on edge before the day even begins. We know that from the research, kids' ability to regulate their emotions in the mornings directly affects how they connect with their peers and engage in learning once they get to school. So calculate your morning, then add 20 to 30, maybe more minutes of extra time depending on your family. Build in the buffer by starting earlier, not rushing faster. Number 3, prep the night before, whenever possible. I'm talking about lunch boxes, clothes, winter gears, backpack, shoes. Get what you can staged before people go to bed. I talk to moms all the time that are simultaneously making lunches for the day while they're making breakfast, while they're trying to sign a forgotten permission slip, and then asking somebody to put their pants on again. And I get it. Evenings aren't easy. They're chaotic too. But 10 minutes of prep and staging things before you go to bed can really help that morning flow. So, the launch pad concept, this is simple. So, when you are getting things ready, have spots. Maybe it's bins, maybe it's putting things on certain hangers, maybe it's having your kids help with the lunch boxes for the next day so that you're not having to do it all on your own. I really encourage, especially when it comes to food, to involve your kids. Even young kids can help throw things into containers, choose their fruit for the next day, pick their favorite snack. This all builds their food literacy and they're more likely to eat it the next day at lunch. You can even put some of your dinner leftovers into a to-go box or their bento box as you're putting it away, so it's one less thing to do. Okay, I promise a bonus, and here's where it is. This one's perfect for families with kids who are old enough to read and follow multi-step routines. So get a whiteboard and put it somewhere visible. Maybe it's in your hallway or in the bathroom or in the kitchen. And on it, make a list of your child's morning checklist in order. Things like putting their clothes on, brushing their teeth, eating breakfast, putting their backpack together, putting their shoes on. Because here's what happens when you don't have a checklist or they tend to forget it. You're the one who's tracking what's been done, what needs to be done. You're the one reminding and re-reminding, and you're ultimately nagging, which feels not so great for you or your kids. And it doesn't actually even build any skills. These morning routines are usually pretty consistent, so this is a great way to start. Whenever you can, think about ways to make it fun. We all like color, so find some color markers, maybe draw a star once you get things done. Encourage them to figure out what makes it special for them. Okay, let's recap. 3 tips plus a bonus for a smoother school morning. Number 1, anchor your mornings with a consistent sleep and wake schedule, and be mindful of late night snacking so they wake up hungry and ready for breakfast. Number 2, give yourself more time than you think. Build a buffer into your morning routine. Number 3, prep the night before whenever you can. Lunches, clothes, winter gear, shoes. Create that launch pad and make it a non-negotiable evening routine for your family. And the bonus, put a morning checklist on a whiteboard. Let the whiteboard do the reminding so it's one less thing for you to do. If this episode was helpful, I would love for you to share it with another mom. Maybe send her a text, tag us on Instagram stories and share it, or tell her the next time you see her. It means the world to us that other moms are helping make their mornings a little bit less chaotic. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Dr. Mom podcast so you never miss an episode. We're here every week with practical, evidence-based advice that you can actually use in real life because you deserve support that actually meets you where you're at. All right, I'll see you next time, Dr. Mom.